What's up, Zoom? What's up, Instagram? If you guys could just see what I see right now.
We're like camera, 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 camera,
We're live
camera.
on three different Instagrams and on Zoom. What's up? Today we are sipping our wine. What kind of wine is this?
Butte
Butte.
white wine.
White. Okay, so white wine. We chilling. And we're gonna talk about model myths. All right. What are the myths? What are the top 10 things that models say that ultimately are holding them back from accomplishing their goals and dreams? And I think it's gonna be a good conversation.
Me too. It's gonna
Uh,
be juicy.
And I think it's not just models that some of the myths are specifically, models say and
Mhm.
believe and think these things, but some of them are just overall limiting beliefs that we all share.
Mhm.
And so we're going to talk about them. And if you have one, if you're watching this right now and you have a myth or a disbelief that you feel is holding you back, definitely let us know. We'll try our best to read through the comments. We have multiple social media channels that we're live on. So the best thing to do is to join the live call on Zoom. That way we can focus on one chat, one audience, and not skip anybody. So click if you watched our story on Studio 713 or the ModelCon story, then there's a link that's attached to it. So click on that link and you can join the Zoom call. All right, but we're going to talk about model myths. What do you have to say about that? What do you think about myths?
I think model myths sometimes can present themselves as half truths. And you take a really, really bad myth or half truth, and then somebody runs with it and then labels it over the entire modeling industry. And I think that is what restricts a lot of models or um, keeps a lot of models from going further in their career,
Yeah,
per se. Yeah.
definitely. Do you feel like you've had some of these myths that we've gone through them? Did you read any of them, or like,
Yeah.
yeah, I used to think that too.
Yeah. And then there were some other ones that came to mind. So
Oh,
yeah.
more than these 10?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we might have a top 12, might have a top 15 model myths. What's up, Lorray, Chloe, Tia?
Hey, Tia.
What's going on, Camille? Oh, Tia, she live on both. Maybe she dropped off Instagram and joined the Zoom as she should. What's up, Royalty? What's up, Casey? What's going on? Support my boy Casey doing another
Hi,
next Bay
Casey.
Area fashion show, December 7th, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. What's going on? Vigloritus. Viglor.
If you're on live right now, you can hop on our Zoom call and you can see the presentation I made.
Yes, Fatima actually what's the word you like to use?
Spearheaded
Spearheaded the
this
presentation today.
presentation.
Who's on your call? Read some of those names off. And where are you guys tuning in from as well? Let us know where you're from. Hey, hey.
We got Chief Royalty in here. Nash the model.
What's going on, Nash?
Some other people.
Yeah, so it's hard with the Instagram names or
It's so
like
tiny and I like
underscore this, that. So don't make fun of me. All right, here we go. So here's another reason why you should join the Zoom call. Again, if you're just tuning in right now, there's a link in the story on ModelCon or Studio 713 story. Then you can click the link, you can join the Zoom call because we actually have a full presentation here, as we just mentioned, and we're going to share our screen so that everyone can participate and see what we're going to talk about as well. So we're just going to jump right into it. All right, model myths. And this is not in any particular order, is it?
it's the order that you gave me.
I don't think it's like, I don't think I categorized it from number 1 to number 10, like the biggest myth or anything.
No, it's
So
not
we'll
like
we'll
that.
just run through the numbers and see what they are. All right, so let's break down what a myth is.
Yeah, what is a model myth?
I'll let you go ahead and break that
Because
down.
I made it. A model industry myth refers to a widely believed but false idea about the modeling world. These myths can be hurtful and restricting for aspiring models, and oftentimes prevent people from even trying at all.
Mm,
That's tea.
mm. Some people are like, why are you talking about me like this? So preventing you from even trying at all.
Mhm.
That is, man, I feel like it's a big hump for people to get over
Yeah.
of just thinking so much. It's called the analysis, the paralysis of analysis. You
Mm.
ever heard that?
No, I
The
haven't, but it rhymes.
paralysis of analysis. You're thinking so much, analyzing the situation that it literally paralyzes you from moving forward or taking any action. So let's see if we can bust some of those myths today.
Yikes.
Let's bust some of those myths. Let's go on. Number one. All right. Number one, we have you have to be tall to be a successful model. You have to be tall to be a successful model. Is that true? So if you follow Fatima,
Mhm.
as you should, she just dropped a video yesterday,
Yeah.
today,
I dropped it yesterday.
yesterday about this particular one. I think that's coincidence though.
I know, right?
So what's your take on this? Do you have to be tall to be a model?
No. Short answer is no. You do not have to be tall to be a model. I think this stops a lot of shorter models
Mm,
from even pursuing modeling. And then it also prevents a lot of petite models from pursuing more or going to greater heights because they feel they don't fit in. This is one of those half-truth myths.
yeah, because it
And
depends on the type of modeling you want to
it
do.
depends on the niche, right?
Right.
So some niches of modeling are like, yeah, we want the tallest of the tall. And then you're like, oh man, then I'm not suited for modeling. But there's this whole other side of the modeling world that is like, no, we want you. We need you here. Like, no, we don't care about your height, we don't care about your age, this and that. Age is another one too. It's like I'm too old to model. I should have started modeling when I was younger.
Yeah, I think that's one of the ones that we have on the
Oops,
list.
sorry, I'm jumping the gun. But yeah, just the same thing essentially is they think that they're not good enough because they're trying to fit within these parameters that are set by a specific niche,
Mhm.
but not for the entire modeling industry.
Yeah, that's it's funny because we had a whole podcast episode with one of our ModelCon guest speakers,
Mhm.
supermodel Luciera. She
Mhm.
joined the call and we spoke live with her. And I posted a snippet of
Mhm.
that conversation and it literally went viral. So many
Yeah,
people were like in agreement and in disagreement with
yeah,
what she said. And literally the first like 3 seconds of the video is like you can't want to be high fashion and you're 5'5". And that ruffled a lot of people's
it did.
feathers. A
It
lot of
did.
people's feathers. Some people were like, thank you for saying this. I've been experiencing a lot of rejection, a lot of
Yeah,
like just obstacles to go through
right.
for trying to force myself into that. And just to realize it's not for me. And it's not that
Yeah.
I'm not good enough to model. It's just that I'm not high fashion model. I'm a petite model. I'm a commercial model, and
Mhm.
that's my lane. And
Mhm.
so that's what Fatima is saying. Like, what is your niche? What type of model do you want to be?
Yeah.
And if you want to be a high fashion editorial runway model, that's where you start to see the height requirements
Yeah.
start to come into play.
And so we're not saying that it's completely impossible because there are the outliers,
Yeah.
right? And we do have the shorter models who are very successful in high fashion and runway, but you face more rejection? Will it be very, very difficult for you? Of course, because the parameters that are already set in that division of modeling. So what we're just saying is that that is a half truth for a specific niche of modeling, not for the entire modeling industry.
Absolutely. So like before we move forward, just quickly break down what is considered tall. So how tall do you have to be?
I think when I was researching the minimum height requirement for a female model anyways was 5'8".
Mhm.
And I so oh no, 5'9", sorry. I think it was
Oh,
5'9".
5'9".
So
Yeah.
I don't even reach the requirements. I'm 5'8", if any of you don't know. So I don't even reach the high fashion requirements, which is really interesting. I thought I was the tallest person my entire life, but guess I'm not tall enough, right? But
But you've done a
Yeah.
lot of shows.
I have done quite a few shows.
And you can still like, so like an inch off sometimes. Like I know you experience in New York, they're like, you're too short, get out.
Yeah.
And they didn't even let you walk. Like
Yeah.
you're just an inch. And
Yeah.
because they could even tell with the heels on, like, no, you're not
Yeah.
there. And so sometimes it's that tight. Like, because
Mhm,
there's so
mhm,
many models that are in that line, they
mhm.
don't even want to waste their time seeing anybody that doesn't fit the description that
Right,
they
right.
need. But for men, so women
Man,
five nine,
I think
for men is 5'11"
5'11", yeah, okay.
at the minimum.
I'm actually surprised it's not 6 foot, but yeah, 5'11".
They might change it because I'm 5'11". I feel like I barely
Right on the cusp.
right there. To check my posture,
Inhale real
you
quick.
know. So yeah, that's the height. What do you guys think about that? Let me check the comments
We got some
section.
comments on this one here.
I see ModelCon. Can y'all explain the different modeling you can get into? Yeah, so we're gonna break that down this entire call. But essentially, high fashion editorial and commercial modeling are the main differences. But there's like 13 different types
Right.
from petite to parts modeling.
Right.
It could be a fit model, fitness
Exactly.
model. There's so many different types.
Exactly. We have a comment over here that says portrait models, for example, come in many forms. Yes, exactly. So
There
there's,
you
there's a
go.
bunch of different categories, different niches.
All right, myth number two, breezing right along, is agencies won't look at you unless you have an extensive professional portfolio.
Hmm. Now, Lorraine, we were on a call earlier, and I actually told this to you. Like, that is not true.
Yeah,
That is not true.
you have to have a big portfolio, an amazing portfolio that you've hired all these photographers for in order to stand out to an agency. And I've actually had a conversation earlier today. Someone reached out to me and said, hey, you know, I really want to get started with modeling now. I just don't know where to start. What do you recommend? Should I just go down to LA and just submit to a bunch of agencies in a weekend?
Mm.
And I was like, you could. Most likely agencies aren't going to allow you to just walk in anymore. They want you to submit online. So I wouldn't recommend just driving down there on a whim unless you have an appointment or something set.
Right.
But all you need is your digitals. Like
All
that's
you need.
really all you need to get started. A lot of people say, how do I start? And they think it's this big task. And you start by taking your digitals, getting your measurements done, and if you want to get signed, submitting. You know, so how to start modeling, again, it's going to go back into that, what type of modeling do you want to do? You want to get signed? Do you want to do runway shows? Do you want to do commercial? Do you want to be like your own personal brand, an influencer? Like that's not really a model, like on paper. Like people like, because when we bring out like Blake and Lou and Kenya from America's Next Top Model, all these guest speakers we've had at ModelCon, like to be a model, they look at that as you're a signed model and you're with an agency. That's what a model is.
I think that's a very old school viewpoint.
Yeah.
Very old school. New school is like, I'm a model because I have this product and I show it on my social media and I make them thousands of dollars because I have thousands of followers who will buy whatever I tell them to buy. Like the new school is like influencer is model. Old school is like influencer is not even in the same room as a model.
Yeah. And there's a lot of debate
Yeah.
about that. I remember like years ago, Beyonce, she dropped something like for her brand. What's her brand that was like in Walmart or something? She had a clothing line.
Beyonce fans. What
yeah. Somebody knows what Beyonce clothing line is. But she did stuff with Adidas and all that stuff. Anyways, so she had a clothing line and she dropped something. And I remember it being a controversial thing because she hired like two influencer models to be in her campaign rather than hiring some professional agency models, because those influencer models had like, I don't know how many thousands or millions of followers. And so it really starts to like, is influencer modeling a legitimate category now? And depending on who you ask, they're gonna say that's not a model, that's an influencer. It's two different things. Because influencers, uh, people online, they don't have to know how to model. They just
Essentially.
have the followers and they just look
They
good
got the
on
clout.
camera, right? They look good on camera, but they don't know how to pose.
Necessarily.
Like a model can probably
Is
outpose an
specifically trained,
influencer.
yeah,
Mhm.
for that. Yeah, I
So
agree.
that's another myth there. All right, let us know if you have questions as we go through this. Let me share my screen one more time.
Got a couple comments.
Someone says, "Hey, my favorite peeps, what's up, Marcus? How to create a portfolio? What's the best app to create your portfolio? Best app? No, you hire a photographer. A photographer,
I think this person
like
is
your model, like
like
a
to
comp card.
store your photos.
Yeah,
I
a little
used to
bit more
use
specific.
I used to use Google Drive when I first started. I know a lot of people use like Google Drive or like Dropbox maybe,
Yeah, to like store. So
like
after you
store
take
your
the photos, like
photos.
where
Yeah.
do you put all of them?
Yeah.
You can use Google Drive. It's free. I think
Hmm.
Dropbox is free until a limit. And then you can use that to share with whomever is asking to see your portfolio, like agencies or other photographers
Right.
or
Hmm.
booking inquiries. And once you are established enough, you may be ready for a model website. So that's
Right.
another way you can
Right.
do it. Yeah, yeah, no problem. No, for sure. All
Um,
right.
Mr. Mark Blayton is
What's
here.
up, Marcus? Yeah, let's talk about this for sure. So we're on number two right now. We're on number two. Blake Martin just joined our live call on Instagram and one of our guest
Yes.
speakers from ModelCon.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so model myth number three, all models must start young. So some I hear it a lot too, like, oh, I'm too old to become a model. You mentioned
Yeah.
the age earlier.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I know we got some feedback from Luciera. You remember what she said?
She said,
Evan.
I can't remember.
She told Evan that most agencies are looking for models starting out as young as like 15
Mm,
or 17. Something, I think it was 15 or 17. So they want you to be young, and because they can mold you, they can shape you. They got a lot of years to work with you. If you're young, then they can kind of categorize you as, oh, we can put you in a like a child commercial, like you can have parents in this advertisement, you know, your model mom and dad, or we can put you in this teen ad, or we can put you like, oh, you
mm,
look a little bit older if you grow your facial hair out. Okay, now we got you in this more, you know,
mhm.
adult role, and they can kind of put you in different things, or they can just grow with you and have
Yeah,
more time to relate to this audience that they are targeting.
right. But again, we're being very niche specific here because um high fashion modeling, runway modeling, those sort of things, they tend to go for younger appearances. But commercial modeling, you could be any age. They literally need any age of person in commercials. They need your 2-year-old daughter. They need somebody's 50-year-old grandma. You know, they need
Yeah.
people who look like real people because that's who they're selling to. So age in that category doesn't really matter as
Yeah.
much.
And it's funny because people forget,
Hmm.
like, it's literally, we see commercial models
Right.
way more
Right.
than we
Every
see
single
any other
day.
type of
Yeah.
model.
You turn the TV on, you see models on the
You
TV.
go to Target, you go to Walmart, you
Right.
go to the mall, you
Hmm.
see these pictures in the windows.
Hmm.
Everywhere you go, you see these commercial models. Some of those are like high fashion editorial models, depending on the brand or the clothing line that the store you're walking into. But you see these commercial models everywhere, any
Right.
magazine, like everywhere. So, but we don't think about that as a model because they're just so relatable, you
Yeah,
know,
it's like
and
every other
that's what the
person.
agency
Yeah.
wants.
Hmm.
No matter what niche you decide to go into,
Hmm.
ultimately they're looking for models that are going to match the category of audience that they want to advertise to.
Hmm.
It's funny because I remember posting I shared like an advertisement, and it was definitely like advertised to me.
Okay.
Like I saw an ad like, oh yeah, okay, I need this product. And it was like a heavy set guy, doesn't look model-esque, right? He's just
Mhm.
some heavy set guy. I'm not heavy set, but he's just some middle-aged heavy set guy, and he was shaving his head. And they're selling like a device to shave your head.
Oh.
So like they just knew I was bald, basically. They know I shaved my head, and they're like, hey, here's this product that you might like. And they have a picture of this guy.
Look at this bald guy that you can relate to.
Yeah,
Change this.
exactly. So I'm like, I screenshot it because I see it, right? I'm
Right.
like, so this is a model.
Right,
He's
right,
he's
right, right.
modeling right
Mhm.
now.
And that's the same thing with like people with like disabilities or short models or plus size models, people who have skin conditions, like freckles or scars. Like these are all normal things that normal people have. So seeing these things on ads creates a relatability. And so same thing, like I saw a sports or fitness ad for Nike, I think it was, and the gentleman had a prosthetic leg and he was like running on the track with a prosthetic leg. So literally, quite literally, when people ask me, how do I know I fit into modeling? Literally, are you even alive? Like, if you're alive, you can be a model, in my opinion, because they're just for specific niches, they're looking for just anybody who can be relatable for their customer.
Absolutely. I saw a comment here saying that you can't hear, and it's probably because I'm live on my iPad and it's like flat surface against my table. So join the Zoom call. If you click on my story, then you'll be able to get the link and you'll be join the Zoom call, and we have our microphone nice and tight set up here. All right, so let's go on to number 3. Let me check this, see if there's any
Number 4.
comments. Oh, number 4. Number 4. No comments yet on Zoom. No questions. Let us know. If you do, we just have that pop up right here. All right, number 4. Expensive photo shoots are a requirement to break into modeling. Expensive photo shoots.
This is a myth.
Is it a myth?
It's a myth.
I mean, photo shoots can add up.
Yeah, but are they necessary to start modeling? No. Mm-mm.
Yes.
No. You think yes? I
No,
think no. Oh, okay.
I'm saying because I'm a photographer.
So buy my package. No, I don't believe that it's necessary. Because like earlier you said, like literally all you need to do is have your digitals and you can start.
Yeah.
You can start talking to agencies, you guys submitting to people, that sort of thing. You don't need to pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars to build this extensive portfolio because oftentimes you're building portfolios around niches that you're not even going to work in.
Yeah, it could be tough, you know. I feel like it's an individual thing too,
True.
because not everybody is just camera ready. Like
True,
if
true,
you
true.
know you're awkward, you know you're camera shy, you don't know how to pose, you don't know expressions at all, you may not just want to take some digitals and then start submitting, and you have no clue even how to
True.
function if you
Mhm.
were to get hired for a job. And so sometimes what most models do is they find photographers. Let me put the info on the screen here. They find photographers, they do photo shoots, they get their practice in.
Mhm.
They basically are just doing their reps.
Right.
They're working out their
Right.
portfolio,
Mhm.
and they're building their confidence. They're learning how to pose, they're learning how to get comfortable in front of the camera. Where's the lighting at? And it may take a year, it may take 2 years for them to be like, okay, I feel like I'm confident enough now.
But that's skill wise.
Right.
Obviously, like for example, mother agencies, they will break you into that training. That is literally their role as a mother agency is to train you in order to connect you with actual modeling agencies. So you don't have to do that training on your own. There's an option for you to get signed to a mother agency and get that support and training from an agency. So
Yeah.
there's that. Also, Luciera, one of our guest speakers, our keynote speaker at ModelCon, she said that your portfolio doesn't consist of work that you paid for, it consists of work that you got paid for.
Yeah.
And that was like, I got so
Wait.
many photos to delete on my profile.
Yeah, so say that again one more time for people that didn't catch that.
Your portfolio does not consist of work that you paid for. It consists of work that you have been paid for.
Hmm.
Right? That
Yeah, that one has to sit for a minute because that's a total flip on the mindset
Mhm.
of what I'm building my portfolio. I'm hiring these photographers, I'm scheduling these shoots, I'm going out and I'm doing this and that, and I'm paying for it,
Mhm.
and I'm getting great images. Maybe you are, but you are paying for this portfolio that you have on display. Luciera, again, supermodel, what she has said, that your portfolio is not something that you pay for, but your portfolio is what you have gotten paid for.
Mhm.
And I don't know how I feel. I'm not gonna argue it. I think she's right. My thing is though, how do you start getting paid for your photo shoots? Because in order for you to get paid, first of all, you probably have to be with an agency, or you have to have enough experience, skill level, credibility, and all of the above in order for photographers and anyone else to even want to hire you in the first place.
Mm.
So maybe you still got to go through the process. You're building up your confidence, you're building your skills, you're working with photographers, you're hiring them, you're learning, you're going through it. And then you're like, okay, great. I've done all this over the past year or two. Now it's time for me to build my portfolio
Right.
with paid work that I've gotten.
Because now I have the skills, I can set my rate and I can offer myself.
Yeah.
So I agree with it only because I am team agency.
Mhm.
And so starting out as someone brand new doesn't have any paid work on their portfolio, doesn't have any work at all on their portfolio, maybe only digitals. Your route, the easiest route that I in my opinion, I believe, is getting signed with an agency. Get signed because their agency is not going to have you sit on the shelf and collect dust because they don't make money that way. They make money by priming and prepping you for the industry and then getting you jobs. And once you get that job, you get paid, the agency get paid, everybody's happy, you get to put something in your portfolio. So I am 100% team agency when it comes to starting out as a model.
Absolutely. So I know you talked about mother agencies too,
Yeah.
and some people were like, "What's a mother agency?" So we're going to like number 5 here, but
Mhm.
wait, give them some insight. What is a mother agency?
So there's three categories of agencies. There's talent agency, mother agency, and modeling agency. And I think the biggest discrepancy between the three is that mother agencies specifically focus on honing your skills or priming and prepping you for the industry. They are also bridge and connection to talent and modeling agencies. So they have connections with all of the major agencies throughout the world.
So your advice, your recommendation is for those who are listening or they're watching the replay right now and they want to get signed to an agency, they're hearing all these myths get busted, and they're like, okay, I just need to start. I need
Right,
my digitals, I need to get signed.
right.
But they don't yet have the skill set or maybe the confidence or the
Mhm.
experience, then their first agency that they should start applying to is not Wilhelmina and Ford models and Elite and all these
Because you're
people.
not going to get accepted. They're looking for primed and prepped and ready models to make them money. Those are modeling agencies. They don't have time to train you. They want you to be on go. But mother agencies, that is their role. That's why they're called the mother. They nurture you
Hey,
throughout your
what's your
journey.
name?
Oh,
You have a name too.
no.
You know what? Okay, we'll next time.
Yeah, so that is their role, is to nurture you throughout your journey and then put you in the arms of an actual modeling agency.
Let's go. Let's go. So you guys learning a lot today. You guys are watching all of us on social media and on Zoom. Let us know in the chat. Are you learning something new today? Because we're really, I feel like we're dropping gems right now. Let us know in the chat if you feel like this information is valuable.
If you have any questions, drop them as well. I think we have one question up there.
Let's see. When should we start looking for an agency? And how do you know they're legit?
That's a good question.
I feel like we just kind of answered part of that question. Like
Mhm.
you can't start looking right away.
Yeah,
Um, depending on your confidence, depending on your skill set, depending on the type
right,
of agency that you want to go after.
right.
There's a lot of variables in there. It's like when should you is going to be like a personal decision.
Mm-hmm.
Um, how do you know if they're legit or not? There is a lot of strategies to researching agencies. Um, my favorite is looking at their Instagram
Right.
page and do they tag the models that they work with? They're
Mm,
posting all these photos of models. Do they tag the model? Do they acknowledge that model on their page? Can you click on that link and then go to the models page? Does that model also have their agency's name in their bio? A
or
lot of models have their
right,
agency in their bio.
right, or the actual post in their on their
Oh yeah,
page.
are they sharing the same
Are they
photo?
sharing the same thing? Yeah.
That's one way, and then you can go a little step further and DM that model saying, hey, I saw that you were signed to this agency, they
Mhm.
posted you on their page, you have them in their bio, etc. I'm interested in working with them. What has been your experience so
Right.
far?
Mm-hmm.
So
Because
you can get a
yeah,
personal
those are always the best personal reviews. Also Google reviews,
Google
business
reviews.
bureaus. I like to use no, not models.com. Agencies, I think it's modelagencies.com, but it's like a huge database of just verified agencies. And that's actually one of the websites I'm using to do my research. So
Okay.
yeah.
There you go. You got a website resource for you. All right, Harry. So number 5, you have to be signed to an agency to succeed. So we just talked about
Yeah.
did we just put our own foot in our mouth?
No,
So like
180.
do you have to be signed to succeed? So I feel like in order to answer that, we
Mhm.
have to define succeed.
Success.
Like how do you determine your success as a model?
Interesting.
Mhm.
I personally determined my success as a model on not necessarily the popularity or the fame I'm acquiring, but the income that I'm acquiring. So, how many jobs can I book that will literally pay my rent and everything else and to get me a girl's trip to Cabo?
There you
Like
go.
that is the success that I'm coming for. So, if your idea or your vision of successful modeling is billboards and thousands of followers, millions of followers, and you're on everybody's social media feed, that's a different type of success vision for you. But yeah, it definitely depends on your idea of success. In my case, if just being paid for the work that I'm doing is success, then no, you don't need an agency.
Yeah. So is your level of success, is it monetary?
Mm-hmm.
Is it like accomplishment, magazines, traveling, doing different shows around the world?
Mm-hmm.
Is it just being active?
Right.
I was thinking about this actually maybe last night or earlier today. Like there's a lot of models that are walking and working for
Right.
Louis Vuitton and Balenciaga and like every name brand you could possibly think of. You flipping through a magazine, there's that model. You didn't realize that they've been in 10 other advertisements. You probably saw their face but didn't know it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but nobody knows their name.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
famous, but
Right.
they're booked and busy.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So does the fame matter? Do you want to be like a household name like the
The
Hadid
yeah.
sisters or Tyra, Naomi? Like it's hard to get to like household name status.
Yeah, those are like supermodels in a sense, but
Do we still have supermodels?
I don't know. That was the debate that we were having. Do supermodels still exist or are they just influencers
Mm.
and they have a lot of money?
Yeah, because I mean, how many models can you even name first and last name? Like there's a handful,
But they
Winnie Harlow,
yeah.
Bella Hadid. Oh,
Yeah,
what's her sister's name?
Gigi Hadid.
Gigi. Yeah, Bella and Gigi, right?
The Jenner sisters. Wait,
Yeah,
are they Jenner?
yeah, Kylie,
Yeah, Jenner?
Kylie
Yeah,
Jenner.
Jenner. Yeah.
But I feel like they definitely had like an advantage.
They
They
they Head start. But
Yeah.
okay, let's reel it back in. Let's reel it back in. Conversation is slipping. But
You
yeah.
have to have an agency. No, you don't. If like you do, if you want to be with certain brands, certain companies, and a certain experience level.
Mhm.
You don't if your goal is just to maybe inspire other people. Maybe you want to
Just be
like
paid. Just
Tondalea,
get jobs. Yeah.
And Jack,
Mhm.
guest speakers at ModelCon. I know Jack is signed to a talent agency, but she admitted on stage that she gets more work just through her own word of
Freelance.
mouth and
Yeah.
freelancing. And but Tondalea specifically, she mentioned that how she's walked in New York, Paris, um, you know, LA and all these other places, and she's danced at the Super Bowl, and like she's had opportunities come her way, publications, even Nayana.
Yeah, Nayana too. Yeah.
Nayana Vishwa, she's another guest speaker that we've had on some of these Zoom calls before.
Yeah.
She's been published over 100 times. She's been in Vogue. She's been in like every fashion week you can think of.
Mhm.
She's been in it.
And it's all unsigned. So
No agency.
yeah, I think it's just about your work ethic. Honestly, no, you do not need to have an agency to be successful. Depending on your definition of success, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, we definitely have many examples of successful models who are not signed.
So we have like little answer boxes
Yeah.
to this. We haven't really been we've just been like answering it verbally. But many models find consistent work freelancing, especially with the rise of social media and platforms like Backstage. So
Right. Yeah.
backstage.com is another website. If you guys are taking notes, something that you can write down as a tool or resource that you can sign up for and start applying for jobs right away. You don't have to have an agency to do that.
Exactly.
Let's see. All right, no more questions. All right, see, Chloe here says, if you are under an agency, do you have the power to choose what campaigns you work on?
In my experience, I have the ability to say yes or no, I don't want to submit to this, or yes, I do want to submit to this. But sometimes they won't tell you who you're submitting for or what brand you're working with. Like I just got a submission request for a soft drink company. And I'm like, who is this soft? So all I can do is guess. But sometimes it's just confidentiality reasons, and they don't want to spoil it before it happens, kind of thing. NDAs are involved. But if you have certain restrictions like morals, religious restrictions, stuff like that, it's best to tell your agency ahead of time so they won't even bother submitting your name into that pool of names. Because they know that this commercial is about eating pork and you don't eat pork because it's against your religion. So stuff like that, for example. So it's best to just come up front and tell your agency truthfully.
Absolutely. Hope that answers your question, Chloe. If you agree to the campaign, then you show up and then you're like, yeah, actually, I don't want to do this. That can come off like pretty unprofessional. You've already submitted and got selected for the work, and then now you're backtracking.
Yeah.
That would not be a good look with your agency or the company, and because you would ultimately be frustrating the company, which would then make the agency look bad, and that would hinder the type of work or the amount of work that they send you moving forward.
Because the company at that point, they've already paid for you, they have a set deadline, their products are already in place, that sort of thing. So, like I said before, just better to be upfront with your agency and be like, I don't do A, B, and C, and don't have me in there doing A, B, and C, because I will not do it. And then that way they don't even submit you for things like that.
Great question. Great question. All right, let's see. Let's go to number 6. We're moving right along here. All right. You need perfect skin and a perfect body. Perfect. What is perfect?
What even is that?
People say like, oh, people say it though, like, oh, you have like your skin is perfect. People forget that Photoshop exists.
I know.
Like,
I know.
you never
People will
know.
be like, people will tell me like, "Oh my God, you have the best skin ever." I'm like, "Yeah, Chris edited." Like, what is he used like Photo Lab or something?
Yeah, it's called frequency separation. Like that's a whole nother lesson. We have
Thank
to
you,
talk
though.
about that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you don't have to like truth. The truth is
Mhm.
diversity is increasingly valued in the modeling world. Scars, freckles, and unique features are celebrated.
Mhm.
And
It's
you know
becoming more
what?
common, yeah.
We can see that too. I was just at Target again.
Mhm.
I always use Target as a great example because it's like everybody goes to
We love
Target.
Target.
You see them everywhere.
Mhm.
And as soon as you walk in, you start seeing models like
Right.
all over the place. And I was walking in Target and I saw an image, a big poster of this girl, and she had a crooked tooth.
I have a cricket too.
I have a crooked tooth, right? So
We're not bonding over our
but
teeth.
but like it was, it wasn't really a smile, but her mouth open, you could see her teeth, and one was like a little bit more forward than the other.
Mm,
And I remember like back in like what's the show? Top Model days.
mhm.
Like they were literally forcing this girl to close her gap
Yeah, I remember
because
that.
it was just so like I don't know, taboo at that time,
Mhm.
but it's not anymore. And
Yeah.
so if you have a scar, if you have freckles, you have a crooked tooth, you have a lazy eye,
Mhm.
they're not necessarily going to turn you away for that. It's like Blake said on stage, if they like you, they like you.
Right.
If they don't, they don't.
Mhm.
You just keep pushing, you move forward, and you just keep submitting.
Right, exactly. Because somebody's going to pick you up. I always say to our students, especially because there's a lot of self-doubt even after you get booked. So you're in the room, you've secured the job, they've already written you a check, and you're in the room, you're like, oh man, I'm this, I look this way. Oh, I hope they don't say anything about my nose. I hope they don't say anything about my crooked tooth. And like you would not be in the room if they didn't want you there. Like they know what you look like, they seen your submission and they accepted you anyways. So I would say if you're ever in that position, you're ever overthinking, just come back to the moment and just realize that you are in the room for a reason and they wanted you there. So I tell my students all the time.
There you go.
Yeah, but I have acne scars. I get pimples more now than ever, honestly, and I'm so confused by it. But anyways, I have a crooked tooth. I have a really uncommon nose shape, I guess. Like I have things about me that I'm like, rather not, but those aren't hindrances on my career.
I like how you put it though, like uncommon,
Yeah.
not like ugly or
I used to
a,
say
a
ugly.
flaw. All right. So I mean that's a
I used to say
good that's a good
ugly.
change of like mindset though, like
Yeah.
uncommon. That makes it
Yeah.
unique.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say anybody's name, but we have a student who
Mhm.
actually just got signed to an agency
Mhm.
and he has like skin pigmentation coloration on his face and it didn't matter. Like he still
Mhm.
got signs, a great model, does
Yeah.
amazing portfolio work all the time.
Mhm.
And so that's not like perfect skin. Like,
Mhm.
again, what is perfect? Perfect body, so actually, do you have to have a six pack or do you have to have like a perfect Coke bottle shape?
I don't. I mean, and it doesn't it used to affect me, but it doesn't anymore because like I said, if they like you, they like you. But all of these things, if they take a picture and they're like, we kind of want to cover up some of those acne scars. They're going to cover them up. You know what I'm saying? And what's to say? Like you're like, I already got paid for this shoot. You're fine. Cover up whatever you want to cover up. At the end of the day.
Same
So
same thing can happen for tattoos. I
that
don't even think tattoos is on here.
I think so.
Is it? Let's see. Let's move forward. Like number 7, when you can't model if you don't live in a big city.
Also, this one's a little bit of a controversial one too.
Yeah.
Isn't like a
I'm gonna tell you right
actual.
now, every featured guest speaker we've ever had at ModelCon, and I say featured because it's someone that we flew in from another city or state to speak to our audience. They
Mhm.
have all said the same thing. If you are serious about modeling, you have to go to where the model hubs are, which is LA or New York. That was kind of like a period, stop talking. That's what you need to do.
No further questions, please.
And so we've heard that a lot.
Mhm.
What is your take?
There are agencies in almost every state across the United States, and there are
Almost there. Now,
almost every. I
some
think
places are a little sparse.
some of the rural states are like, no, we're not going to bother. But there are agencies, as far as I know, anyways, in almost every state of America, and there are agencies across the seas in Europe, Asia, Africa, all these places, and so there's opportunity to be signed even in your little Texas city or your Kentucky city. There's opportunity to be signed and book jobs. Now, if your idea of modeling is runway high fashion, you're not going to find that in Illinois
Or Idaho
or
or
Idaho,
Mississippi or like,
Kentucky. You're not going to find it over there, honey.
yeah,
And you're not even going to find it in Northern California, pretty much.
yeah.
And we stay in Northern California. This is our base, So, and all of California, pretty much. LA, but like there's just certain areas where you're not going to find certain niches of modeling happening, and high fashion and editorial is one of those niches that is very location specific.
Yeah.
But it's not impossible. You can get signed to an agency in New York or LA and live in Texas and fly to jobs. But that becomes a whole situation with your contract.
Yeah, it can be burdensome. It can make you less likely to be chosen if that's the case, because they could just work with a model that's just right there. Why fly you in? Like it's not that it's impossible. I don't like the word impossible.
It's not impossible.
But it can be difficult.
Well, all of the modeling industry pursuing this is difficult. Whether you're signed or whether you're freelance, whether you're in the state with your agency or you're out of the state with your agency, every part of it can be difficult. So that is where the dedication comes in, honestly. The dedication
Yeah.
and the love for it comes in.
Oh, iPad fell over. Sorry, Instagram.
Nothing is impossible, is what we're saying.
So what we wrote here was that remote castings in smaller markets are booming, especially with social media platforms creating global reach. It depends heavily on the scale in which you want to model. So
Exactly.
I feel like almost every answer we give is like, it depends.
It does though, because modeling is not all one little thing. It's an umbrella of many subcategories and types. So it can be very difficult to answer a specific question straightforward because
Yeah.
there's multiple different answers.
I can't say though that with us hosting ModelCon in Northern California, like we're not known for fashion or modeling. Like that's not what Sacramento is. You're not going to Sacramento to go and walk in Fashion Week if you're not from Sacramento. You're probably not going to do that. But when we're hosting that event and I speak with models from all around the country, people are calling me. I'm like, I didn't even know y'all have models out there.
Yeah.
Like, what are y'all doing in Salt Lake? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And they're literally like, there's nothing out here. Like, there's barely even photographers. All the photographers out there, they shoot weddings and couples. They're not shooting fashion. And so, yet you do have to go where the action is. I feel like that's with any business, any niche, anything you want to do with your life. If you look up around you and say, I want to do this thing, and there's nothing around you that even presents that type of opportunity, maybe you go against the grain and you start it yourself. Or an easier route was you just go to where the action is. So your path to success, again, defining your own success of what you feel like that may be, you have to go to where it's at.
Right.
And Luciera, Kenya Hill, Blake Martin, like all these people have come out and saying, if you're serious, you're going somewhere else.
Right.
Because there's so many photographers, there's so many agencies, there's so many brands, and everything is there. Like if you want to, I feel like if we weren't talking about modeling,
Mm-hmm.
you're talking about like acting,
Yeah.
LA,
LA, San Francisco.
you're immediately
Yeah.
going like, oh yeah, I need to be Hollywood,
LA, yeah.
LA, Hollywood. So
Mhm.
like high fashion, New York. Like I feel like we all internalize,
Yeah.
we know this,
Mm-hmm.
but we're still looking for like, nah, I'm just gonna stick where I'm at. And you're gonna experience your
A
experience
lot
is
more
gonna be
resistance.
different than what it
Yeah.
would be if you went to where it was.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to walk in local shows? Do you want to work with your local brands and businesses that are around your neighborhood? Because moving is just too much of a stress for you to do right now, then great, do that, build your experience,
Mhm.
build your confidence, build your portfolio. All right, we kind of loosely lose that term now. But then when you're ready and you're like, okay, I've, because some people like, I know we've had discussions, you get, sometimes you become like a big fish in a small pond.
Mm-hmm.
Like you are the biggest and the best, the most known person in your little small city because there's only like 5,000 people there.
Mm-hmm.
And like everybody knows you for what you do. You become this person. Great. You go to a whole nother place, nobody knows your name anymore.
Yes, fish now.
And so, but you have to outgrow sometimes your
Yeah.
own bubble to be like, okay, I'm ready now to make this, take this step because it's not easy
Mm-mm.
to leave your home, your city, your job, and just reroute your entire life to go pursue this dream. It takes a lot of confidence to do that. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to work on that first. And that's something I talked to Lou about, remember on the call.
Mm-hmm.
She was saying how she went to New York with no money, was standing on the corner, was looking for other models and following them in the castings that she wasn't even supposed to be in.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's how bad she wanted it.
Like talking her way into
And
casting.
talking her way into the like, she said she got security called on her so many times.
Yeah.
She was not supposed to be there. But I was like, I questioned her about the like, where did that mindset come from? How do you how do you just tell yourself, you know what? I'm going to make this happen no matter what. I'm going to
Mhm.
eat noodles every day because I want this that bad.
Mm-hmm.
Most people aren't going to go through the process to that level.
Mm-hmm.
But again, what are your goals?
How bad do you want it?
All right, let's move forward. Let's see what else we got here. We got, what number are we on? Number 7. Okay, we got 3 more. All right, number 8. Clear the screen here. You need to have a huge following on Instagram in order to be successful as a model.
No.
We kind of touched on that a little. There's models who get signed to have like
A couple hundred. Yeah.
yeah, they're
Not
you
even.
don't know their name, you don't
Yeah.
know who they are. They have a few hundred followers,
Yeah.
and it's all their friends and family,
Mm-hmm.
but they're walking for Dior.
Yep. Depends on your goals again.
Yeah, we know models, a handful who just got discovered and selected out of a bunch, walking through the mall,
Mhm.
going viral for running through a football field.
Yeah.
And like, hey, you should be a model. Like
Yeah.
that, the outliers, right?
Right.
But they don't have a huge following, but it does help.
It helps, yeah. In the sense that a brand wants to work with you and they see you have 100K followers and they're like, that'll be good for sales. Yeah, that helps. But oftentimes brands are just like, do you fit my vision for my commercial physically and energy wise and presence wise? Then we're going to book you regardless of your following because we don't really care about that. We got our own customers that we're trying to sell to. So
Yeah. Truth. While having a social media presence helps, agencies still prioritize talent, look,
mm-hmm.
and professionalism over followers. So you could have a whole bunch of followers, but if you don't have the look, if you don't have the professionalism,
Mm-hmm.
then
Or the talent.
The talent, especially, you. Hey, Instagram just put some fireworks on us. What's up? If you don't have the talent, the look, or the professionalism, you're not gonna get that job anyway.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So you might as well work on those things first.
Yeah, don't focus on superficial things. Focus on building your talent.
All right, number 9, you need to pay an agency before they represent you.
Half truth.
Half truth. Uh-oh.
No, 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 no. I think it's it's a myth. It's a myth, but there are expenses that sometimes come up.
Yeah.
Okay, and we'll delve a little
Yeah.
deeper into that.
So let's see what we have here. The truth is, legitimate agencies make money from booking you, not charging you upfront fees. Be aware of scams.
So somebody asked earlier,
yeah.
stop saying what I say when I say it. Somebody asked earlier, how do you avoid scams? If an agency is coming to you and you're like, yeah, we want to sign you, but that'll be $500 in order to be signed. Then no, that's a scam. They're not allowed to do that because that's not how agencies work. The way it works is you get signed, they book you a job, and they take a percentage of that money. That's how both of you guys get paid in this scenario.
Roughly 20%. Anything higher than
Roughly
20%, you got to question that. So
Yeah.
the commonality agencies will have a 20% charge
Mhm.
from booking you
Right.
a job.
Right. So with that being said, the reason why I say that it's myth but kind of true is that there are some fees that you may have to pay in order to be shown on the website, in order to be signed up for a casting site specifically. They may not require, but they may recommend some of their photographers for your new headshots or digitals.
Yeah.
That's also a fee that you have to pay. Of course, them forcing you to use their photographers is always a weird vibe,
Yeah,
but
it could be kind of a red flag. But they have highly recommended photographers because to them this is an approved body of work. We know if you work with this person or these selected people that you're going to get the shots that we need
Right.
to put you on our website and to advertise you appropriately.
right.
I have gotten reached out to by quite a few clients who have like, yeah, they want me to work with this person, but I would rather work with you
Mhm.
because they like my work or they know me personally,
Mhm.
and they will show my work to the agency. Like, well, I don't want to work with those photographers. I know somebody who's good. Can I work with this person?
Right.
And they can kind of give you the thumbs up, and that's still it's like you said, a required fee because you have to have headshots.
You have to.
Yeah, your digitals is one part of it. That's your digital is what you submitted to the agency in order to get their attention
Mhm.
to be approved for a contract.
Right.
The headshots is what they show the client
Mhm.
when they are submitting you
For
on
paid work.
your behalf.
For paid work. Right. Exactly.
Right. So that's the difference between headshots and digitals. So you sometimes do have to hire and pay hundreds of dollars for a photographer. And I know you mentioned like casting website.
Casting sites. So my agency has a casting site and 2 casting sites. One of them is free with the agency. The second one has a monthly fee. I think it's like $10 a month. And that is in order for them to show me on that site. So, and then some agencies might be like,
But they're third party.
but they're third party, right? I'm not paying the agency to put me on this site. Where you would pay the agency to put you on a site is the agency's website. So sometimes, and I've heard this before, is that the agency will be like, yeah, we want to post your information and your card and your comp card on our own website. That'll be $12 a month, or that'll be X amount of money, or something like that. So
Yeah.
that does happen.
Yeah. I I one of our students in the past two, well, a couple of them actually,
Mhm.
I won't name the agencies, but they were told, one of them was told it's going to be X amount of dollars, and because they're trying to sell you a package.
Mhm.
Like, oh, we're going to put you on our website, and then that's a fee. And we're going to give you this professional portfolio book that has like their agency name on it. It's probably nice quality at the end of the day. It should be for the amount of money that they're charging for it. And they're going to send you this portfolio book that you can put your images in. And then they're also charging like a few $100s for comp cards, and they're
Mhm.
going to supply comp cards for you.
Monthly, I think,
And
right?
yeah, well, it was, I think it was like $400 to $600, or maybe a little bit even more than that. And they were like giving you all these things. And I was like, you
Oh,
don't really need 400 comp cards, a portfolio book, and X, Y, and Z in order for them to book you.
right. It's not a
Why
necessity.
do you need 400 comp cards? They should be submitting on your behalf. So I was like,
Especially a lot of it is virtual submissions anyways nowadays. COVID screwed everything up.
yeah,
But you don't need 400 physical comp cards and headshots unless you're doing walk-in casting calls, which
you
are
were
very
hustling. Yeah.
few and far in between. You don't need 400 of them. So sometimes just look out for these tricky things, especially in contracts or during interview calls when you're speaking to the agency and directly. Ask these sort of questions for sure. But you shouldn't have to pay to be signed. Sometimes, and what I like to call is a little bit of a scam, is agencies will say, yeah, we'll sign you, but you have to pay for the $600 training course first.
Yeah.
Or we'll consider signing you, but first you got to pay for the $600 course.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So again, they are not saying pay this fee and we'll sign you. They're saying pay this fee so we can train you, and then we will consider signing you after you have gone through this mandatory program.
Some person said they can't hear nothing on here.
It might be because of the phone being flat on the table.
We need more phone stands.
I know we need more iPhone stands. All right, so let's go to number 10. Number 10, the last model myth we're going to break down today. Let's see what that is. Only those who know someone in the industry get ahead.
Pull the
Let's see,
trigger.
let's pull the truth here. Hard work, networking, and showing up prepared can create opportunities even without initial connections.
And this is why we say networking is so important because, yes, knowing somebody in the room can get you into the room. And leaving a good impression on a client can set you up for future projects with that client or other clients because word of mouth, of course. If photographer comes to a party with Christopher and Christopher's like, yeah, you should shoot with Fatima because she's a great model, then boom, now that photographer comes and books me to shoot with him. So that sort of thing happens. I knew Christopher, Christopher knew me, I left a good impression, so he referred me to somebody else. That does happen. So networking is important, but knowing somebody in the room first is not always necessary.
Yeah, you can make a great first impression, but
Right.
now this is another skill set, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of networking, of
Mm-hmm.
looking people in their eye, shaking their hand, like saying the right words, not to put too much pressure on just saying hello to somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there is a certain way that you can have conversations with individuals that do have the power to help your career or move it forward. And again, I know I keep bringing up ModelCon, but these are all elements that we add into that event. That's kind of like a hidden benefit
Mm-hmm.
to coming to ModelCon, because you're in the room
Right.
with influential people and you get to meet them, you get to shake their hand. Like at the end of the event, Lou, Brittany, Taylor, Blake, all these people, guest speakers, they had circles around them of
Mm-hmm.
people who wanted to talk to them some more off stage during our
Right.
VIP cocktail party. And they were just like answering questions for people and pouring into them even more.
Mm-hmm.
And even if they walk away, the guest speakers, they walk away from that and they don't remember who you are because there's so many people that they spoke with, you may have just bridged the gap of just the knowledge you needed so that when you walk into the next room, you know how to conduct yourself or how to
Mm-hmm.
carry yourself or how to, do whatever it is that you needed to do to get that question answered.
Exactly.
So networking is definitely key. If you do know somebody obviously that's going to help.
Right.
Obviously, like,
Utilize that.
make those phone calls, you
Utilize
know,
that.
call in some favors, like, hey, I need you to put me in that show. And, you know, like, what is it, like nepotism?
Nepo babies.
Nepo
Nepo
baby,
babies
nepo
exist.
babies.
They're
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
Ooh, no, just kidding.
So,
Nepo babies, and for those of you who don't know what a Nepo baby is basically somebody who was born into a family who was already set up in that industry that they're successful in. So if we had to pull any names, the Jenner sisters or the Hadid sisters, their parents were already set up. So they had access to certain things that you and I don't have access to from the jump. So they just had like sort of a head start,
and you can't
essentially.
blame them for that.
Yeah, you can't blame them for
Their
that.
parents worked hard. They got
Right,
to
right.
where they got in
Mhm.
order for them to even have those opportunities.
Exactly right.
So great. Are they going to move further faster? Most likely,
Yeah. It's
yes.
because they know people and their parents know people and that sort of thing. So
But the myth, right? Like, well, I don't know anybody, therefore I'm not going to
Mm.
create success. That is a myth that you can, you know, break through that limiting belief.
you better get to know somebody.
I can speak for like my own self. Like I talk to Nicole sometimes. Nicole is a fashion designer in Sacramento, and I've known her for years, years and years. And she's seen me just be a photographer.
Mhm.
Like there's a bunch of there's shows, there's events that's going on. I'm just a photographer like anybody else. Nobody knows who I am.
Mhm.
I'm not important in the room. And there are people that I would try to network with.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh yeah, that person's important. Let me go shake their hand. Let me go tell them I got this idea and approach them and like maybe
Mhm.
not even like pitch them on anything, but just like, hey, we should work together. Like I like what you do. I do this too. And you're like, they're kind of like, yeah. I'm not, you know, just kind of like little bro me, you know, like, yeah, bro, like I'm busy right now. I'm like, okay, cool. See you next time.
Word.
And I've had those full circle moments where now, especially after the events and the workshops and everything that we've done, you know, I've created a name for myself, and we've built a community, we've built an audience. We do these live calls, people know who we are, and now those same people that I was once approaching, trying to look for an opportunity for myself, that are now literally calling me saying, "Hey, I see what you're doing. Let's do something together." And so that, I mean, I'm not trying to like flex, right? But it's like the truth of like hardworking, being and being consistent. And sometimes it just takes consistency and hard work and just, I feel like you have to go through the process.
Right.
Because I'm not the same person I was, you know, 5, 10 years ago. And maybe 5, 10 years ago, I don't remember exactly how I approached somebody, but you ever met somebody and you're like, bro, this dude is super awkward. Like,
Hi.
yeah, you're like,
Hi.
yeah, man, I'm busy. Like, you're kind of weird. Maybe that's how I came off, like just a little too anxious or a little too like rambunctious. Like, he's like, bro, calm down. Like, I can't work with you right now. I'm doing something. I don't know. But all I know is when you go through the rejections, you go through the no's, you put the pen to paper and you focus on the mindset and what you need to do to become that better version of yourself.
Right.
If you continue to do those things, then knowing the right people, you'll start to attract them into your life. And I do believe knowing the right people is going to be obviously very beneficial. I know other models, even you, this has happened to you before too. Like, you don't even need to cast for the show anymore. Like, if a designer needs a model or a photographer wants somebody to work with, and they're not going to go have a casting, or maybe they will, but they're like, I already got 3 models in my mind. I need 6 more.
Yeah.
I'm just going to call you personally now because I already know what you can do.
But that's what the networking does. Yeah, for sure. So half truth.
Sure. So that's all 10 myths that we busted there for you. we kind of gave you a little mixed bag of answers there. You can take with that what you will. Hope you gained and learned something from that. But the last thing I'm going to show you here is, of course, Model Society. This is our 90-day coaching program. This is something that we work hard and diligently on. You've heard us mention some of our students already in the past on this call. If you were at ModelCon, you've seen them graduate and cross the stage and earn their certificates of completion. And it's a really great experience, if I do say so myself. You can see a picture there of our valedictorian for 2024, Evan or
Mhm.
Avir. What is
A
Avir?
beer.
What's the last name?
Evergreen?
Evergreen, Avir
Mhm.
Evergreen.
Yeah.
He goes by on the runway,
Mhm.
and just seeing the transition, like we talked about just a minute ago, like becoming that person, that version of you that you want to be, that you know that you
Mhm.
can be, and for whatever reason, you're like, what do I need to do to be that? Um, I feel like we can help push you at least in the right direction there. So we do talk about posing, walking, expressions, but also more like the details, like the agencies, the contracts. How do you avoid the scams? When should you submit? All these
Mhm.
questions you guys are asking, they all get answered through a 6-week course
Mhm.
through Mall Society. I said 8 weeks earlier because we have 2 bonus weeks now.
Mhm.
2 bonus weeks called Agency Automation. And you want to tell them what Agency Automation is? Yes,
Yay.
this is her baby.
Agency automation is a 2-week training, particularly for people who already have those tools and set are ready to submit. And so it's 2-week, not training, but coaching, where we go through the process of picking out your digitals, picking out the agencies or maybe the niches or locations that you want to be in and that you want to do. And then we look at scams together. We look at how to submit the submission process. And then we also take a look at how to actually walk through submitting. So we do that together and as many times as we can within 2 weeks. And then also on the technical side, we show you how to resize images for specific websites because they have those tricky situations where like this file is too big or something like that. So we teach all of that stuff and we basically just take all of the tools that you've gathered and all the readiness and we just apply it because the hardest thing to do for models is to actually apply.
Yeah.
So,
So at the end of the day, just allow us to be your mentors,
mhm,
allow us to be your accountability partners. You say you want this thing, you're on this call, you've been watching, you've been listening, you've been taking notes because you want something greater for yourself
mhm,
in the terms of the modeling world.
right.
Yes, you can go through this process and you can take the long route sometimes and just do it yourself.
Mhm,
You have the tools, you have the resources. We literally told you just take your digitals and start submitting.
just do it.
Just do it. But if you want a community, if you want mentorship, you want a little bit more accountability, you want training where we literally show you how to do it together, that's what Model Society is. We are your partners in that. So
Mhm.
I dropped the link inside the chat there, studio713.com/society. If you're watching this later, then I'll put it like in the comment section below this video and you can click that and then you can submit your application.
Mhm,
It is a process. Not everyone who join or applies gets accepted. And
mhm.
we've had over 100 people apply.
Yeah. Crazy, yeah.
And I looked at the numbers. There's like a 50% of people who actually get accepted.
So 50%
So it's
acceptable.
like a 50-50. That's just where the numbers fell.
Yeah.
About 100 people applied. We've had about 56 total members
Mhm,
out of that. So like 60% of people who actually get accepted.
mhm,
And then this year alone, because we had graduates last year, this year alone, we had about 30 graduates.
mhm.
So
Yeah.
uh, the graduates, there would have been more, I would say, if those people had taken it a bit more serious, if they would have just followed through on their own.
Mhm.
And we do a lot of accountability. Like
Yeah,
we're
we do.
literally like push you to do the thing that you say you're going to do. But sometimes people just life just takes them a different direction,
Mhm.
and it is what it is. But if you allow us to do that, allow us to be that person for you, then we'll light the fire. All right, we'll light the fire. So go to studio713.com/society. Agency automation is included with your Model Society membership. You can also get agency automation separately.
Mhm.
Maybe you just want to go straight to the agencies. You're a little bit more advanced. You already have the confidence. You know how to pose those things,
Mhm.
and you wouldn't go and get signed like right now. Then definitely reach out to us, reach out to Fatima. We could schedule a call. Either way you want to go. You want agency automation alone, you want to join the whole package, you want Model Society and agency automation, you can click the link, send us a message. Either way, we'll
Yes.
schedule a call with you and we'll determine if it's a good fit.
Right.
Because it's not for everybody,
Mhm.
obviously.
Well, obviously you have to be ready first, but you also have to be compatible with the community. We have to be compatible with you, that sort of stuff. So yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely.
All right, Lorraine, Chloe, Tia, Camille. Let us know if you have any questions. Instagram live on 3 different channels. Hey family, what's up? In Leather Rocks. I think is that the company that
The
you
leather bags?
yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, that's the company. I went
Yeah, the leather wallet that I got from
yeah,
you
it's like it's
guys.
right over there too.
Love that
I
thing.
think they're like in Maryland or somewhere on the East Coast. Yeah, thanks for joining the call. Appreciate that. We have to do some work. Send us some product. We could do a shoot. Or we might have to just fly out.
You got something up there.
Let's see, online or in person. In person, where are you located? So we're located in Northern California. We're in Sacramento. But we do online classes as well. We have students who are all across the country. We have someone in
Mhm.
Tennessee. We have someone in Chicago. I think Michigan, LA. So it doesn't matter where you're located. If you want to get involved in Model Society, we do virtual lessons and we do them in person.
Right.
And once you become a member, if you want to come in at any time throughout your membership and get an in-person lesson throughout that 6 to 8 weeks, then you can do that too.
Yes.
So you have the option of being here with us or joining in online. So it does not matter where you are located. DM me if you need something for sure. Love y'all too. North Carolina, that's where they at. North Carolina, that's what's up. Appreciate you being on the call. All right, y'all. So if there's no other questions, we're gonna. Oh, my phone died. I was
Right on
okay.
time. Right on
Time for that. All right, so hopefully catch the replay. We'll be here every week, 6 p.m. Tuesday, PST. Until next time.
Bye. Bye, Instagram.